Это не мир Шекспира, но он подлинный. Это жизнь.
Thomas Bach called for respect for the cause decision in the case of Kamila Valieva. Previously, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, disqualified the Russian figure skater for 4 years for doping, and annulled her results starting December 25, 2021. We have taken note of the CAS decision, with which the International Olympic Committee, IOC, will of course agree. Everyone has the right to criticize the court's decision and have their own opinion, but we must fully respect this decision. For us, this whole case is another confirmation that our determination, our requests, which we have repeatedly made during doping cases, are aimed at the fact that not only athletes matter, but also the environment of athletes, whose activities should be investigated more, better and deeper. This applies even more to situations when we are talking about minors. TAS quotes IOC President Thomas Bach as saying at a press conference during the Youth Olympic Games in South Korea. I can only urge all organizations responsible for the fight against doping, all agencies to look very carefully at their environment. We need to be sure that when imposing sanctions, we determine the environment and, again, apply even stricter sanctions to the environment when it comes to minors. Bach noted. Yana Nurskaya spoke out about the disqualification of Kamila Valieva. The phone has been disconnected all these days for Kamila. She was silent, did not comment, held back. But Yana Nurskaya said so precisely and clearly absolutely what I thought. When I saw Terry Tutberidze's post, I honestly thought it was fake. Every line uses arrogance, every line is literally I don't have to explain anything to you, I'm a victim too. Seriously, Terry Georgievna. Whose victim are you? Another girl, an unhappy child whose career was ruined and her dream taken away. Her parents, who probably sacrificed everything to serve their daughter's sports career. Or the entire team. For whom this gold Olympic team medal, which was taken away Kamila's points were subtracted, is perhaps the first and last in their careers. Why should we follow you in asking whether anyone defended Kamila in court? Ask someone other than you. You were supposed to protect her. And before the court, and before the world, and before the country and before itself. The coach had to take the blame. And from a professional point of view, and from a conceptual, and from a human point of view. And not subtly, through the lines, put the blame on a girl in whose life a tragedy occurred. And yes, this is exactly a tragedy. The age of figure skaters is much shorter than the age of mentors. And for some reason they all burn like matches, but no one feels warm over and over again. There is an icy wall of arrogance, alienation and indifference around each of them. And the girl's fire goes out, and at the foot of the ice floe remains the ashes of the hopes of those who once believed. Well, yes, how should we consider this statement? What did the coach not know who represented the interests of her most gifted athlete? This, in general, it seems to me, is a devaluation of the talent of the other girls. Each of them was talented, each shone and shines as a star. I can imagine what's going on in Kamila's soul, what's happening to her now. And I feel very, very sorry for her. And I feel sorry for all the guys I personally know on the team, who really also suffered in connection with this story. I will say this as a person who helps the development of children's and youth sports, in particular, figure skating in Russia. I invest, like my husband, personal funds, and help a huge number of athletes and coaches. But I also have something to say as a mother. As mothers of 4 children, 2 of them are athletes. If my daughter had experienced this, I would have behaved differently. Are you serious about saying that no one knows anything? Well, generally good. What does they didn't know mean? How can this be? What can I say? I would like to read an adult confession from an adult about accepting responsibility we didn't keep track, leave the girl alone. But what I see is a tragicomedy and a bad production of the good old play It's Not My Fault, He Came Himself. Nurskaya wrote. Nathan Chen spoke out about Kamila's disqualification Valieva. This decision is certainly a victory for clean sport. However, the fact that this happened at all is not a victory for anyone. Throughout our careers we have competed cleanly. Every substance we take is carefully tested before we even think about taking it. Without cleanliness, the integrity of the sport is diminished. I'm so happy for the team. Everyone there has shown such dedication throughout their careers, and I don't know of any group of people who deserve it more. They all held up incredibly well during this time of uncertainty and represented themselves and the United States well. American figure skaters Hubble and Donahue responded to Valieva's disqualification. I was pleasantly surprised that she didn't get special treatment just because of her age, that she was treated the same as any other athlete. I feel like my faith in the system has been restored, said Madison Hubble. The opportunity to graduate as a gold medalist is life-changing and changes the way you think about yourself and your future. This delay has financial implications, especially since Madison and I retired in 2022, added Zachary Donahue. The Americans hope that the award ceremony will be held during the Summer Olympics in Paris. I think that a real Olympic podium is necessary. The number of people who start skating and make it to the Olympics is so small that it would be humiliating to hold the awards somewhere else, Donahue said. Coach Daniel Glakengas spoke about the disqualification of Kamila Valieva. I've been holding my emotions, thoughts, experiences inside myself for an impossible long time, and I want to express them all here. I'll start with Kamila herself. Such athletes appear in professional sports once every many years. It is very rare when everything comes together in one person. Talent, hard work, beauty and much more. Kamila is a versatile athlete who has skating skills, ultra-C elements, incredible spins and presentation. All her and our team's many years of work were wiped out in one moment. What she went through at the age of 15 and is still going through, no one deserves. This is the complete moral destruction of a person. The main rule of the protected person was violated. I wouldn't go deep into the stories of how it really happened, and how long any of us were with her and tried to support her, but it all happened, and it couldn't have been any other way. We are all people, and we have hearts. Now a little more about your emotions and thoughts. When Natalia Georgievna called after the team tournament at the Olympics and said that Kamila had a positive test, I was horrified, but I thought that there would be more tests, and she might have time to reach the individual tournament, because I thought about the coronavirus test. After I realized that it was about a doping test, I couldn't even believe it and thought it was some kind of mistake. To be honest, I heard the word termitazidine for the first time in my life at that moment. Terry, Tutberidze, and Sergei Dudikov trained the Olympic champion in the team back in 2014, after which the three of us led our athletes to gold and silver awards at the Olympics in Korea, to victories at the European and World Championships. Just as always, we prepared our athletes for this Olympics in Beijing. Our team is for clean sport. There should be no doping in sports. We have never used it and never will. Everyone knows that we have a system. So what is the logic here doping one of the athletes? I don't understand. I don't understand how this substance got into Kamila's sample. I know for sure that none of us could advise our athlete to take doping, and I am confident in Kamila that she never intentionally used it. I myself would give a lot to find out the truth about how the substance ended up in her sample. All this time, the lawyers asked us not to comment on the situation, so as not to make things worse. After all, a complex process was going on. For my part, I did what I could to help understand the situation. I attended interrogations and participated in hearings via video link. And I am ready to continue to do everything so that the truth is found. In any case, our guilt is present, since we did not protect our athlete. This makes my soul sad and painful, Glakengas wrote.